Hi, my name is Jane Scanlon, and I am with the American Red Cross. Thank you guys for inviting me today. Mo took a lot of, I'm sorry, he took a lot of my steam, because County and American Red Cross really do work in partnership together. So we're going to click through these slides really quick. You guys know a lot of what Red Cross does, but I want to put some myths to rest. Oops, oh my, sorry, they're pointed.
Oh, you know, it's quite this.
Okay, so we have our mission statement, and the important thing that I want everyone to understand is we do have a mission statement and a charter from the federal government. We do not receive any funding from the federal government. We are a nonprofit that works on private donations. That is it. So our charter is to shelter people in need, but that comes with no government funding in any way. So we San Diego Imperial County goes from Arizona border all the way over here, and luckily a lot of it is desert, which is always convenient, but as we all know, there's areas that like burn very well around here. I wanted to cover all of our different, what all the groups that we have in there. We are a call center in San Diego County for the Service for Armed Services. When the military called to get an emergency message sent to their spouse or loved one, they go through the American Red Cross. When you call that 1-800 number, you do not know which call center you get. So this is just one of 4 in the United States. We have blood services. I think that speaks for itself. Health and safety training. Again, it's the CPR, first aid, all those good things. The WIC, which is the women, infant, I have information on the back. I'm not part of WIC, and again, they're umbrellaed under the Red Cross, but they're a little different. I don't know how to explain how different they are. But they specifically are for mothers and children. We did international tracing. So during the Philippine, the recent typhoon out there, we were taking phone calls, and then we don't have American Red Cross, Red Cross in the Philippines. So we actually try to, connect families together through the computer. Thank you, Lord, for the computer, because, that works really well to leave messages in an area, and then our coworkers in the Philippines then can look up the information and try to put the families together. We have disaster relief services, which is what I'm part of. I started out in sheltering, and then I've moved on to the community-based training, which is the partner organizations. I'm also part of sheltering, and I was part of the May fires, and it was very interesting, is all I can say. And then the other part we do is Prepare San Diego, which there's another slide for that. Again, our mission is quality services. That's really what we're going for. Our really immediate need is food and shelter. So just so I can define a little bit. So the county can open a shelter, cities can open a shelter, and then Red Cross can open shelters. So there's a little, when people talk and say that they got phone calls to bring supplies to a shelter, that wouldn't be a Red Cross shelter, because we can't actually accept spontaneous donations. So if it's cooked in a commercial kitchen, if it's water, things like that, we can accept. But we're trying to get people to understand that I can't accept your mom's cookies, and I'm really sorry, but with everything that's going on now with food handling, safety, they don't let us do that. We, again, as the county just said, there's the 3 phases: prepare, response, recovery. The second we open a shelter, we're immediately trying to shut the shelter. So we go with whatever we can to try to make everyone happy, comfortable, and then immediately it's how are we going to, get you back into your home. So, we have all sort of things. We, have the Prepare San Diego to have a kit, which I was part of the initial 2013 first wave to everyone to make a kit, and I admit I didn't have one. I have one now, though. And my children went to college with preparedness kits, and I think They were the only ones. But they have it just in case. So they probably have never opened them or admit that they have one. We also have a DAC group. Our DAC group is the Disaster Action Group, and what happens is the fire department or sheriff is on the scene of a local incident, like a house fire. And so then they are talking to the homeowner, and they're trying to determine if this person has a place to go, do they have resources, do they have family, and if all else fails, if they have nowhere to go and no resources, then they call in our DAC group, and our DAC group then is sent out to offer hotel, different things. We do not give them cash. We give them cards and things like that. And that again is where our VOAD group comes in, because then if they need additional food and clothing, we don't have that we want to offer, because there's so many volunteer organizations in San Diego that have food banks at their organization, and they can offer it. So then we have, who is responsible. There's all those lines that he defined it so well. We do work together really well. There's always the players, there's the government, there's the NGOs, which is, the Red Cross and the Southern Baptist. They cook. Their big job is they cook. And then you have the private sector, all the corporations that want to step in and help out. So there's so many partnerships out there that it's really lovely. I was told to add this slide. This is Shackle, the African lioness. This is actually a picture taken during Hurricane Ike. And someone didn't have anywhere to go with their tiger or their lion. So they had to bring the lion to the shelter.
I noticed the shelter's deserted.
Way to clear a room.
I noticed the empty clothes. I was wondering where the people went.
Way to clear the shelter. Bring your pet lion.
Yeah, but it is a problem. So the city of Escondido opened a shelter in May. Someone brought their llama. So it does happen, for a Red Cross shelter, and I want to be specific about that. As a Red Cross shelter, you cannot bring your animals. We cannot allow animals in the shelter. Yes, we'll allow service animals, but we cannot allow animals because we don't know who is allergic to them, if they're going to bite or anything. That's what the Humane Society does. They can come up, they can set up their own little, they have a tractor trailer, and they've got all sort of cool stuff, and their own volunteers that'll take care, and they will not put your dog to sleep. If they take the animal with them, it doesn't mean they're going to put them to sleep. I got to get that. We got to quit thinking that. Again, this is our disaster action team. They really do try to get out there within 1 hour of a call. But the other night there were 6 fires in 2 hours, and they couldn't make it out in an hour because there were too many calls for the group of people on call that night. We have mass pet sheltering. That is what I have done in the past. It's very unsexy. Can I just say that? We train. I feel like we're like the military. We train, and yet we're never called. So when May came around, wow, we finally got, our local volunteers. We did activate all of our community partners. But again, when we call community partners, just like what the county does with our cute little maps and everything, we try to call the partner organizations that are in we pick a circle of the event. We don't want to call people way far and have them drive north because you never know what the road closures are. You don't want to have people in situations where, it's a little far for them to go. So we do try to bring people food and shelter as fast as we can. It's just a matter of how fast the wave happens once we get notified by the county that it's time to open the shelter. We have mass care feeding. We do have canteens, and they're strategically located around San Diego County, so we don't have to actually all, they don't have to all drive down to our headquarters in Kearney Mesa. There's one in Poway and one in Oceanside, so we can just send teams of volunteers to start that. And these canteens are immediately ready with hydration and food, and they also support the search and rescue operations that were recently out in Julian. So they're in a constant state of readiness for feeding. Client services, again, after this is the recovery part, so as soon as the event happens, we try to find out who has a place. Normally everyone's on the phone trying to get a different place to stay, and that's fine. But we really have great food. I have no complaints about eating at a shelter. But most people are, we're trying to get them out of the shelter. So that's immediately client services are out trying to make sure everyone has a place to go. Our CDOC, again, we call this our war room. They, it's a really cool operations center that we have, and I was grateful in May that things happened during the day because we were already all there. So we just moved from desks into there, and it was very convenient. So I just can't tell you how nice that was. Prepare San Diego, again, this is an initiative trying to get 1 million people to have a preparedness kit, plan, thought, idea, conversation, anything that would have people think about what they're going to do. It's a hard conversation to have, and too many times we don't have those conversations. And I left some flyers in the back if anyone would like to, create your plan. It was eye-opening for me to have to admit I didn't have a kit when here I was working on this initiative to find out who had one, and I had to say, I don't have one. But I have one now, and that's the important thing. And I actually keep putting more stuff in it, so if I ever have to move it, heavens, it need help. We have the support to armed services, so it is the emergency services where you make the call. We have they go out, they'll do different things on, what happens during, deployments and things like that. And then we also have the hospital support down at Balboa Hospital. They have a team that works down there. You can volunteer down there. Again, here's WIC. There's, again, information galore. I don't want to go into it because I'm not the WIC person.